Week 1 preemptive waiver wire show is a pretty important show. JCM, Horton, guys like Milrow, guys like Arroyo, players like Brashard Smith can win leagues if you grab them early. We want you going to the waiver wire early so that coming out of week 1, your league mates pull up the app, your platform, and they start typing in Horton, H-O-R, how do you spell it? H-O-R-T-O-N? What in the hell? How is he picked up already? He must watch the fantasy football show. What is going on here?
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
The goal here today is to have you not just picking up players in your existing leagues, or if you haven't drafted yet, not just drafting them maybe at the tail end of your draft, but also in conjunction with better draft approach so that you don't leave guys out there and then you're scrambling. Even after the draft's over, you're like, damn it, Smitty, I didn't know about Brashard Smith. I should have drafted him. Now I got to put a waiver claim in for him and everyone's going to be after him. Not only are we trying to avoid that draft process, also, get you prepped for leagues that have waivers going right now that are already drafted. It could be a redraft league, could be a dynasty league, but also almost as important as any of those, you need to be on the alert for some of these guys, and you can't necessarily pick them up yet because you might only be able to hold 5 or 6 running back spots. It's a smaller roster, and so you can't hold all of these backup running backs that might vault into the lineup. So very important that we, distinguish between all of that. Now, this is not the set in stone order. This is kind of roughly thrown together. If anybody has names they want to throw out, I have not yet adjusted this entirely. It's not locked in. But this is an early look at the waiver wire week 1 board preemptive style. Brashard Smith, Croskey-Merritt, Keaton Mitchell. The goal again is to own as many of these players as you can. Aloha, appreciate you dropping the $2 hello. Thank you. Glad to see you here, pal. Thank you for that super chat. The goal is not only to have you draft as many of these guys as you can, but these are players that if you're in smaller rosters, you can't have, let's say, a Gadsden yet. You can't really have Milton or Milrow or Shedeur Sanders. Look, in Superflex, you should have them now. Don't wait until week 1. So some of this is Superflex as well. Tesla. Maybe you can't roster Tesla because you have literally 7 bench spots. You have quarterbacks you can't drop. You got amazing running backs that you drafted, and you can't grab Tesla. You need to monitor the hell out of them. Royals, Thornton Jr. I'd almost say because of the likely suspension of a 2 to 6 game, we'll call it right now, to Rashee Rice. Royals jumps ahead of Thornton right now, but Thornton might be the number 1 wide receiver on this list coming out of week 1, coming out of week 3. There's a chance that Thornton isn't even on radars until week 4, or there's a chance he walks out of week 1 with 100 yards and a touchdown. Hard to say how it's going to evolve with some of these guys, so you have to be on your toes. You have to look at it all. There are, I know some of you want me to put Jordan Watkins on here. We can do that for sure. I haven't added, like I said, I haven't added everybody yet. So let's put Watkins on here. I know a lot of you guys like him. He's solid. But we'll see where we put him. Maybe he still goes below Yoshi and Keenan Allen. It's a crowded room in San Francisco. I think people expecting the world out of Watkins. I like him. He definitely needs to be on this list. It's hard to know. It's such a crowded room, bro. Even with the injuries are not going to necessarily keep, he's going to get a shot, but will he stay on the field? I don't know. So we'll put Watkins up there. If anybody else has other players they want to throw it out. We'll do it live. Real DC, T-Mac or Hunter, bro. I've had Hunter. Hunter's going to be a superstar. T-Mac's going to be really good as well. They're both too early in round 3 and 4, so stop dancing around those territories in redraft. But Hunter to the mother freaking moon. Ted McMillan probably going to visit at least the space station, if not, head to the moon as well. But Hunter could go to Mars, to Saturn, to Jupiter. Horton is a player that should be grabbed in every league. In every league, you should have Horton. Tesla is starting to get there, but it is a very crowded Detroit Lion wide receiver room. But he tends to still get fed a decent amount to have the remnants of a full course meal. It's going to be kind of wild how they use this kid. He's ultra efficient. Tesla might be one of those players that, Lambert should probably be on this board too. I agree. Tesla might be one of those players that he just keeps ripping off the efficiency in very strange ways. It's going to be one of those seasons where he'll get 4 targets and he'll have 100 yards, the one game. He'll get 2 targets but have like a touchdown. And I'm not saying he'll be the definition of consistency. Lambert Smith we'll put on here as well. Lambert Smith deserves to be put on here for sure. I don't know where I put him. Coker definitely needs to be on here as well. Do we not have Coker? Coker needs to be on here. Let me put Coker on here. Horn, you guys know I've talked about Horn a lot in the offseason. He's breaking ankles right now in practice. He just looks so good. Jimmy Horn for the Carolina Panthers. It's just crowded there as well. But Coker is a good player to add. Horn is a player that Horton should be grabbed in all leagues. Horton should be somebody's wide receiver 4, not a guy you don't roster on your team. Royals, if you have Rice, you better own him. If you have wide receiver woes, he's a great player for the first handful of weeks. Tesla is a best ball, I think, savior, a league winner potentially in best ball, just because I think those spike weeks will be there. Thornton will eventually be, I believe, a potential monster, but it could take a couple weeks. So if I had to guess out of the receivers right here that could get cut coming out of week 1 because people are not patient, I think you might see Thornton get cut if he doesn't have a big week 1. Now, he might have a big week 1, but this could be a late bloomer in the early to middle part of the season. Keenan Allen's going to get a lot more catches than people think. I like Lambert Smith, but I'm putting Keenan Allen ahead of him because he's going to slide right back into the lineup. Yoshi Voss has some good value. Watkins, as we just alluded to, is decent, but what's going to look like long term? Milroe, Sanders, and Milton, these guys are going to be super flex must-haves if they're available in your super flex. Race to your waiver wire. Don't walk. Race to the waiver wire. Milroe's going to be amazing. He already looks good. His rushing ability is fantastic. This guy's going to be such a gem. And Darnold's going to see ghosts in Seattle before long. I give Darnold probably 2 or 3 or 4 games. Chisholm probably put him on here too. Yes, that's not a... we could keep adding to it. The Chismeister might need to be deserving of a rank. We'll put him on here in a second. Milton's the league winner here. If we had to identify a quarterback that is on waivers in every single league practically, but can you hold him now? Because he's not even starting. Like, it's hard to hold a quarterback. So in Superflex, must grab. In Best Ball Mania or Best Ball at all, grabbing him as your third quarterback is crazy, but it's fun as hell. I think you just monitor this kid, Milton, in as many leagues as you can. You try and grab him when there's a first sign of movement at all in a direction that means that he's getting injected into the lineup. Now, let me just tell you, there's no way Milton or Judkins is not dropped, Blanco. He's getting drafted in like every single league, which is crazy. But Judkins is going way too high. If he's available, you could pick him up, but I honestly think he doesn't play this year. So would I rather have majority of these guys at the top part over Judkins? Absolutely. But Milton isn't going to take Dak's job. Dak can't stay healthy. So Dak is going to be a player that, Dart probably on this list. Look, I'm going to have Milton ahead of Dart. And you might say, that's crazy. But look, Dart's not locked into a starting role either. And honestly, Dart, to me, he looks good, but Milton could be amazing. Dart could be good and serviceable, and maybe he's a pretty decent quarterback. He could produce maybe solid numbers. Milton can be a superstar in the NFL. Milton could be a top 7 fantasy QB. So Milton, to me, monitor the hell out of him. he'll take Dak's job at some point in the next 2-3 years. He might take it this year. It would take an injury. I'm not an idiot. I also like Dak a lot. It's probably pretty confusing for me to say I love Dak. Dak's going to ball out. I love Milton. Milton could ball out. But two things can exist at the same time. Milton and Dak can both be ballers. But Dak is a baller. Milton's a baller times 2. And if Dak does go down, and Dak is often injured, and Jerry Jones loves Milton. He loves Milton. And Jerry doesn't necessarily love Dak. He's been on record several times saying he doesn't know if he wants to pay Dak. And then he finally did. But he was interviewed in a game last year, right before a game, when they said, Dak's out for the year. How do you feel you're going to do? The guy put the mic right in Jerry's face, and Jerry goes, I think we'll do better without Dak. He was pissed off at Dak. He's always kind of been mad at Dak. He's been mad at Dak making him look bad. Jerry thinks he's the best GM in the world. Jerry thinks he set the Dallas Cowboys up to succeed, and he blames Dak for not closing it out. So Jerry is actually more of the person you want in this. If you're a Milton believer and you're rooting for Milton to get the job, Jerry's the perfect person to be in this situation. So 100% love the Milton vibe right now. Arroyo is a potential league winner at the tight end position. He had a lot of hype. Now the hype is dying down a little bit. Buy on the dip. Gadsden could have some solid value if he starts getting a lot of run in LAC. Fannin Jr. is behind a very injury-prone Njoku, and Fannin Jr. he outperformed Jeremiah Smith, Ted McMillan, Travis Hunter, every single wide receiver in FBS last year. Fannin had more receptions than every receiver in the entire college football world. He had more yards receiving than every single wide receiver in the college football world. This was a guy that almost had the triple crown. I think he was like 12th or 13th in touchdowns. So you're looking at a monster in Fannin. Fannin Jr., if he gets in there, is going to be a superstar potentially. Ben Sinnott, he needs Ertz to get hurt, but he is a potential next George Kittle over in Washington. Sanders, Ferguson, the rookie in LAC or LAR. Theo Johnson, Noah Gray. These are all guys to look at. From the running back side of things, this is where it's really potent. This is where it's really league winning. This is where I really could see that next Kyron or next Achane being hiding in this pile of weeds over here. Brashard Smith, converted wide receiver to running back in college, and boy, did he convert and complete that conversion. Became a 1,000-yard rusher, 10-plus touchdown running back in college, and he has the mindset of a wide receiver, so much so that the Chiefs have been running him out as a wide receiver with the ones a lot of time in camp over the handful of weeks and months. Brashard Smith is every bit as talented as the Chiefs thought he was, and this is a really talented scouting squad, club, and they identify Brashard Smith as potentially their future running back. I've heard from many sources that they want to get him the ball early, and this is not one of those we're going to drag him along slowly situations. They truly will give Brashard Smith as much work as he can handle early on. Pacheco's still a starter, but Pacheco's very injury prone, and Brashard Smith's going to be used no matter what on third downs and all over the field. So he's going to get a good foothold. And if, let's say, Pacheco gets banged up, Brashard Smith is already in the lineup playing well in different areas. So then he just shifts over to being the full-time running back, and he could be a league winner. Ja'Cory Croskey-Merritt, a.k.a. JCM, a.k.a. Bill, a.k.a. Little Bill. Bill is a phenomenal player that plays on a phenomenal team. He's got great shiftiness, good hands, good vision, great cutback ability, good speed, good acceleration. Croskey-Merritt really could be a league winner. He could be the pickup of the year. Brashard Smith, Croskey-Merritt, Dylan Sampson, and Keaton Mitchell and Woody Marks all have potential league-winning running back 2, elite running back 2 upside. Woody Marks, don't count this kid out. Chubb, where do you see Chubb on my list? Way down here. Way down here. I have no interest in even drafting Nick Chubb. Anybody that thinks Nick Chubb's going to revitalize over in Houston, this guy is not going to last. He looks very, very slow. on the field. He looks very slow in pads. He's up some lbs, or at least his frame and body structure is completely different than it was. He's had 2 massively destroyed knees, the 2 biggest knee injuries in football history, college and the pros. Nick Chubb has both of them. He has the 2 most devastating knee injuries I have ever witnessed in my life. He has both of them. His knee got completely destroyed, bent completely sideways, not hyperextended a little bit, not torn ACL like that. His knee was an L shape in the wrong direction in both his knees. There's no comeback tour for Nick Chubb. It is Woody Marks territory at some point. Now, Mixon's still going to get in the way initially, so this could be one of those things where I'm telling you to monitor Woody Marks. You could pick up Woody Marks tonight, and then in week 1 and 2, you grow so tired of Smitty being wrong, you're going to cut him, but you didn't listen to me. This is probably more of a longer play, win a league player. So this might be week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. It might be week 1, but it might be coming out of week 1. It might be week 10. There's no way to know when Woody Marks will get unlocked. Keaton Mitchell, he's going to be good from the jump, but he gets obviously a boost if he ever gets inserted into the lineup. But he's still a very good flex to running back 4 play while he's taking a lot of receptions and being moved all over the field. He's such an efficient, exciting guy. Averages 8 yards a carry whenever he's getting fed. And if he didn't tear his ACL his rookie year, the same rookie year as Devon Achane, he might have outrushed Devon Achane, his yards per carry number. Achane rushed for 7.8 yards per carry with a qualifier of 100 carries or more, which is number 1 in NFL history, Devon Achane. This guy didn't hit that 100 carry total because he got injured and tore his ACL, but he was at 8.0. It was Mitchell and Achane, and they were both exploding. Mitchell and Achane, similar to Bigsby and Bucky, both had moments where they were going to both potentially be as good as one another as they rose up. Mitchell and Achane felt that same way. Mitchell took all of last year to kind of still get right, even though he came back. And now Mitchell looks as speedy, as explosive as ever. In fact, he's put on weight, and he looks as quick as Jahmyr Gibbs out there. He does. He truly looks like Jahmyr Gibbs in some ways when he's running the ball. For whether you take that the wrong way or not, that's up to you. Dylan Sampson's got some league-winning ability, and the fact that Judkins probably doesn't play a snap this year like we predicted on this channel, like we warned everybody on this channel. Nobody wanted to listen, but your boy Smitty called this one right the whole entire way. Rashard Smith, Croskey-Merritt, Keaton Mitchell, Dylan Sampson, Woody Marks are the lead running back pickups of the week. Look, Sean Tucker needs to be talked about. If you own Bucky, you better race to your waiver wire. You better run to your waiver wire. Make sure you cuff Sean Tucker. I've told everyone Sean Tucker's the backup in Tampa, but some people wanted to still run their mouth about Rachaad White. Rachaad White's already been told he's not returning next year. Rachaad White's a trade candidate. Rachaad White's already banged up right now. Rachaad White announced on social media he will not be returning to Tampa Bay after the season. Clearly, you do that only when you're told bad news. Clearly, you do that when you feel phased out. So, Rachaad White is not somebody that I'm recommending cuffing to Bucky. The cuff is Sean Tucker. And Sean Tucker, his staff even came out yesterday and the day before talking him up, saying we need to get him the ball more. That's not a threat to Bucky. It's just this guy's the backup, and he should be grabbed in all leagues. Where's Blue? Where's Jaden Blue? Where do you think Jaden Blue is, Sam? he's not available on waivers. Jaden Blue is drafted, I would say, not the even barely double-digit rounds. Like, you're not going to find Jaden Blue on the waiver wire unless you play in a league that is just, they don't know what the hell they're doing. If Blue's available, yeah, I mean, of course, grab him. He would be potentially at the top of the list. But he's not a free agent. Does anybody have Jaden Blue available on their waiver wire? Cam Ward, what leagues do you guys play in? Axis says Cam Ward. How in the hell would Cam Ward be available? You guys play eight-man free leagues on ESPN? Yeah, that's got to be. What are you talking about, Cam? Is Joe Burrow? Why is Joe Burrow not on the list, Smitty? Where's Joe Burrow? Cam Ward, Jaden Blue. These are league winners. What are you talking about? All right. Jeez, 6-man, 5-man league. I mean, my grandma's league with 8 corpses in it. 8-man grandma league with eight corpses. They auto drafted Jaden Blue. No one showed up to the draft. No one was around anymore. But they all auto drafted Cam Ward and Jaden Blue on auto picks. Jeez. Smitty, I don't understand why. Where's my Cam Ward? Pat Bryant might be available. Might not be. That one, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be available. But let's put Pat Bryant because he might be the one guy that you guys have listed that might still be on waivers. But Pat Bryant is definitely good if available. And you could even put Pat Bryant ahead of Yoshi, under Thornton, but capable of climbing Thornton. Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright, which one's the backup? Honestly, no one truly knows, but Gordon's probably the guy you'd want because of his ability to punch those touchdowns in. But Wright's still going to fight for that job and deserves the look. And where's James Worthy? I don't know. I must have forgot. It's an omission. Yeah, I mean, these other guys, you see him here. It's Horton. It's Brashard Smith. It's Croskey-Merritt. It's Keaton Mitchell. It's Sampson. It's Woody Marks. It's Sean Tucker. It's Horton, Tesla, Royals, Thornton, Keenan, Pat Bryant, Yoshi. It's Milroe, Sanders, Milton, Dart, and Superflex. It's Milton, Sanders, Milton, Sanders, Milroe in non-Superflex, but from a monitor perspective. And then it's Arroyo, it's Gadsden, it's Fannin, it's Sinnott. This is the waiver wire board. Appreciate you all jumping in here. Wally. Who the hell's Wally, bro? You talking about Waller? And if you're talking about Waller, why in the hell would I put Waller on the waiver wire board? All right, let's jump through these super chats. Panther says, do you like Pat Bryant? Absolutely. We talk Pat Bryant up all the time, bro. All the time. Add Cam Miller. No thanks. Should I drop Sampson for Little Bill? I probably would. I don't know that I would say. I don't want to get put in that box. I don't want to drop Sampson. But do I rank Little Bill over Sampson right now? I do. But it's, it's close, and I wouldn't probably be dropping him. Daniel says Milton delivered a hospital ball to CD, and CD wasn't even dressed. Milton looked phenomenal. Aside from one play. Trey Benson should be higher on the waiver wire board. You imagine Trey Benson being on waivers? God, I don't understand what people are thinking. And where's Cam Ward? Where's Cam? Cam Ward is on waivers? Kyler, Achan, Williams, Chase, Harrison, Hawk, Cooks, Niners. Okay. Guess you're a Niner fan. Pitts, Cup, Tank, Bigsby, Pearsall, Fields. Why you got all these Niners, bro? Your Niners are going to be in some shambles. You need to stop oversaturating. But I do like the team. I think you look like you got a pretty good squad there, Bob. Except for your Niner infatuation. Watkins, get Watkins on the time. Look, Watkins should be monitored. Yeah, for sure. But it's hard to roster him. Smitty, I have the number 1 pick in his Superflex 12-man full PPR redraft league. Who would you draft? I'm torn between Josh Allen or Bijan. You can't be torn, bro. It's Josh Allen. There's no debate here. You don't win Superflex leagues getting the 1 pick and passing on QB. It is such a huge advantage. The fact that you're still getting a running back at high end Bucky or higher caliber in the second round, you can't pass or punt quarterback. The top 5 is always those quarterbacks, bro. Every single time. And that is best player available. Thank you for the $10 hauler. That is not me drafting a position. That's drafting best player available. And the elite quarterbacks are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and sometimes 6. Straight down every time. Smitty, love the content and knowledge. Any tips for underdog fantasy drafts, such as what's the ideal number of each position? Great question. I usually personally do this. It depends on a lot of factors, though. If you draft 4 really good running backs, like let's say you take Bijan, and I don't have all the buys off the top of my head, but let's say you went Bijan, Bucky, Hendy, and let's just say they all had different bye weeks, and Harvey, you technically could, because you only have to start 2, and if they're all different bye weeks, you could roll with 4, and so that affords you flexibility. So you have to look at it. There's no number, there's no formula you just implement. You have to look at your team, read the room. But traditionally, I draft 3 QBs, I draft 3 tight ends, I draft 5 running backs, and then the rest wide receivers, because you need to have this rotation. Now, if you have like a bye week 10 Mahomes and a bye week 12 Bo Nix, you could just draft 2, and then if you draft weird and you don't like the way something feels, you can then add 1 more to either of these spots. I don't like going 2 tight ends. I love to have 3, and sometimes that third one's a cuff. Like, you drafted Kelsey, you grab Noah Gray, make sure your other tight end has a different bye week than the Chiefs, and you're good. Same thing with quarterback. You can go Bo Nix 12, bye week 12, Mahomes bye week 10, and then you can grab like a Milton or a Milrow just for swinging for the fences. But that's how I typically start. And then the other thing would just be best player available. But it is chewing gum and walking at the same time. There's no real way to tell you a number other than that general rule of thumb, and then you feel it out whether you want to bump someone left or right. You know what I mean? Appreciate your super chat. And Hassan, $10. Hassan, it's good to see you back, my boy. My dynasty team: JD5, Fields, Puka, Worthy, Cup, Debo, Dell, Wilson, Whittington and Dell maybe aren't players you even need. Gibbs, Chase Brown, Kamara, Braylon Allen, Chubb, Mason, Benson, Jonnu, Sinnott, drafted Tyler Warren, and Higgins and Milrow. I like it. If I could move anything, it would be maybe, if you told me, Smitty, you got to make a trade, you have to. I would try and trade Puka on the high, get myself like a Hunter Harvey combo, get myself something in that direction. I would trade Puka down to London, and maybe maneuver something else. Past that, bro, there's not much to touch here. I like the team a lot. Part of me wonders if you could trade like Puka for Rice and then like a Hendy or something like that. That would be insane. Even if you give up like a second rounder, you're trying to balance the scale on what feels like a 2-for-2 by throwing a pick in. That's probably where I would go with that team, just because I don't trust Puka for the long term. And once Stafford's gone, who knows what Puka's going to be. I think he'll still be good, but he's not Puka anymore. He's a different version of Puka. So
call into the show. Call into the show.
Do it live. Dial in. Super chats will be answered in order in which they're received. Appreciate all the super chats so far. Appreciate every single one of you. Let me make sure my alerts are popping, so when a super chat does drop, we'll be good. And let me hit that Chase Brown video. Caller, hold on 1 second. We're hitting the Chase Brown video. Mute yourself if you could. Let me see where that is. Here it is. Mute yourself.
Brown. Oh, yeah. Chase Brown. Touchdown. You hear that sound? It's Chase Brown. Chase Brown, 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 Chase Brown.
Honey, what is that awful sound? Ma, that's Chase Brown. Ma, you got my Hot Pocket ready yet? Where are the batteries for my Game Boy?
Chase Brown. Chase Brown.
All right, we got 2 phone callers, but hang tight. Let me hit this $50 super chat by Shish Coin, dropping the 50. Appreciate you.
Give me $50 holler.
Thank you, Sheesh, for dropping the $50 holler. You straight up monster and savage. You, Sheesh has a question here. 12-team 0.5 PPR league, had 1 spot. Planning to take Bijan from that 1 spot. My problem in this league is so running back heavy. I hate the running backs that come back to me. I also find myself reaching a lot and getting the guys from that number 1, from number 1, I can trade to 5 to take Genty. Crazy? No, I keep Bijan. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of it, bro. Especially in 0.5 PPR. Bijan's the 1 pick for me. On Underdog, I'm starting to draft Bijan at 1 no matter what. And honestly, I think the whole best ball community is crazy by taking 0.5 PPR scoring and treating it like it's 3 PPR. The way the underdog community drafts wide receivers, they treat it like it's 3 points per reception. It's insane. Not to mention, guess who catches as many footballs as most wide receivers? Bijan. Who's going to have 70, 80 receptions this year as a running back? Bijan. Sorry, Bijan. I don't want to call him Bijan. I really don't. $20 holler from my boy BBQ in the building. BBQ
alert.
dropping.
Super chat alert.
BBQ dropping a wad, $20 holler. My favorite waiver wire pickups when my league mates rage drop a player or give up on a rookie early. Keep your league notifications on. Waiver wire can turn around your fortunes. The crazy part about this is, like I was saying earlier, you're probably going to see a Woody Marks get believed in, a Croskey-Merritt get believed in, and BBQ's right on the money. They'll drop them. So a lot of times what I tell people is when you're going through your waiver stuff each week, waivers process on Tuesday mornings for most people, right? So on Tuesday morning when the waivers process, a lot of people just ignore it. They see who was picked up, but they don't look at the drop player. Always scan through on Tuesdays the side of those drops and ads, and just give it a gander and just see what players were dropped. You'll once a year minimum, you'll go ho ho ho. You'll be like it'll be like that Leonardo DiCaprio in the Lazy Boy image. You'll stand up, you'll point at it, and you got to go put a claim in. So 100% the waiver wire can feed you that way, but also, we're going to try and get you the players so that when people scramble, there's nothing better than when your league scrambles to add somebody, they type in the name and you own the player already because you're watching this show. Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. All right, let me hit the phone line here. 970. Is this Sean? 970. Who's this? Hello? Okay. 586. What is your name and where are you calling from? Maybe my phone line isn't working. All right, hold on a second. I just hung up on that other guy thinking it was him. Let's see if Bruce, can you hear me? All right, hang tight real quickly. I'll be right with you. Let me just fix the phone line. I just restarted everything. This is a damn shame. Let me switch over to a speaker here. All right, go ahead. Let me go back to that first caller that I hung up on. 970. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Sean, from Colorado.
Sean, what's up, my boy? What can I do for you?
I'm going to tell you guys. I have a sleeper in there. A receiver. I want to know your thoughts on. First of all, I called a couple weeks ago about Corey Horton, and it looks like he's a baller. I have another one.
Hold on 1 second. Say that last part again. You have another one. What?
Ephraim Chisholm, the third.
Yeah. He's pretty solid. We talk about him quite a bit. We got to put him on the waiver list. He definitely should be on there. Where would I rank him on here? Probably no higher than Brian and Keenan Allen and Yoshi Voss, and kind of right where Watkins is. He's got good upside, but there's also, it's crowded. It's just until things pencil out. He certainly will put him right here next to Watkins because he's got similar situation. We'll put the Chizmeister right there. Scott, call back if you want. All right, what else can I do for you?
That's pretty much it. Love the show.
All right, my man. Thanks for calling.
You're a favorite. You're a favorite Sagittarius.
All right, later, bro. Is that the astrology guy again? Let me go over to Matthew. Matthew, you're live.
Smitty, I'm just calling. I'm drafting right now. I'm following the protocol. I'm wondering if I can get a mashed potatoes or let him cook. Let me read off the team I'm drafting. I'm in it's 12 teams, PPR, kind of a water cooler league. I don't know. Some of you guys might know ball, but let me read off the team. I think you're going to love it.
Okay.
JD5, Genty, Bucky, MHJ, Travis Hunter, Evan Ingram, Hendy, Debo, and I'm about to take Ibuka off the board here in a second.
I like that, bro. Definitely, definitely.
I'm just there with the community.
Yeah, definitely grandma-esque for sure. But hey, those leagues need loving too, bro. JD5, Genty, Bucky, MHJ. I like it, bro. Really, really good. Nice work. I like it a lot. You said 12? 12?
Because it's PPR and I didn't take an elite receiver and I went for Bucky, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust the process. Bucky's going to catch a lot this year.
Yeah, Genty, you catch a lot. It's good. I like it, bro. It's 12 man or 10?
12.
Nice work, bro. I like it. All right, man. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, you want your let it cook? Sure, we'll do it. Let it cook.
Let him cook.
Later, bro. We've got drop Harris for Keenan Allen. For now, I could understand it. Look, Harris took a nutsack kick, with Keenan Allen landing there. Keenan's the starter, but Harris could still climb up. I'd be okay with this if this spot isn't like fermenting on the bench, like you might need it. I can understand it, but I also don't know that I'm condoning dropping Harris, but I understand if you have to swap them, I don't know. I'd say Keenan Allen for now, but that's hard to say. Bruce, you're live.
Hey, Smitty.
What's
I
up?
got a quick question for you. Could you see Rashard Smith being like a receiver when Rice gets suspended, or if he gets suspended this year? You just say, hey, you're just going to go back to your position until he comes back.
Which receiver?
Right.
What do you mean though? Like you're suggesting that he might not get his job back?
No, I'm not saying he's not going to get his job back. What I'm saying is, until Rice comes back, they'll throw out Smith out there.
Oh, Rashard Smith. Well, they're not going to throw Rashard Smith out as a receiver, but they're going to use him a lot catching the ball and running him in motion to the slot and line him up on the outside in motion. Like he'll be all over the field. But yeah, they're not going to use him as a receiver. They got Royals. They got Hollywood. This will be a pretty solid wide receiver room still. But once Rice comes back, he's top 5 in the league in targets. He's top 5 in the league in percentage of maybe his team's receiving, yards, and like he's just going to be top 5 in a lot of categories. He's such a sponge for Mahomes, and Andy Reid could give two shits about what's going on. There's no doghouse or anything. Andy Reid doesn't. If Andy Reid could have it his way, he would just say no suspension. Like he wouldn't say you need to learn your. Andy Reid doesn't care. Andy Reid's like, it's over. We're waiting for him to come back. We're gonna feed the hell out of him, and he's gonna be a fantasy football wide receiver 1. But Royals is the guy, the benefactor. Rashard Smith will be used, but Rashard Smith goes to the moon when the moment Pacheco gets injured, and Pacheco runs harder than almost anybody in the world.
Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't sure on, like, the video you were saying, hey, he was running receivers with the ones. I was like,
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to make him go out there.
They are, but not he's not playing receiver, but he'll be catching balls early on, and they want to use him early and often. So the answer is yes, but you're using him as a running back, obviously, Bruce. He's not a receiver, so you have to start him at RB. Yeah, I mean, if let's say he did line up as receiver, I mean, the way they're using him in practice makes sense for that. Like we'd have to see what the platforms would do if he started 3 games at receiver or something. But I don't think he's starting a receiver. I think they're just making these unique formations where he is actually a receiver, but he was starting out in the backfield and they motioned him out. You know, they could line them up a couple of times out there. I mean, the teams are doing weird things right now, and it's good. I like it. The NFL is getting very crafty. You've got, you know, these tight ends playing wide receiver. Kyle Pitts is lining up as wide receiver. You got DJ Moore running some running back plays on the regular in practice. Teams are getting creative with their talent, you know, and that's kind of a good thing. So anything's possible with Brashard Smith and where he like starts, you know, the play from. I'm not saying he has to motion. He can line up out there from the start, but I don't think he's going to move positions or anything like that. I just think that they're going to use him. They're going to throw the hell out of the ball. The Chiefs were at the 1 yard line, 1st and goal from the 1. They could have run the ball. They didn't. They threw it. Mahomes was 1 for 1 with the touchdown strike on the 1 yard line. They didn't run it. They said, we're throwing more this year. We need to practice it. What good is it to punch in a 1 yard touchdown on the ground when we want to throw the ball this year? So let's practice it. Let's not fail. Mahomes drops back, touchdown strike from the 1 yard line. That should tell you where the Chiefs' head is, where their head is at. All right, Bruce, hang tight real quickly. You can think of another question here. Mute yourself if you don't mind. Sheesh Coin, did I answer all your questions? Number one, I can trade. Don't trade down, and just, you know, feel good about that you have Bijan and you can go in any direction you want. If you want to call in on this topic too to discuss further, like if you did get that 5 pick, you know, I do love Genty. I do still very much love Genty, but I love Bijan and Gibbs more than anybody by quite a big margin. And I just think that you might get lucky at the turn picks, and I'd hate to see you regret trading Bijan and then having your 3rd round pick driven down even further. Whereas from the 1 pick, they're bookend, and you get to choose any 2 you want. You could take Chase Brown, you could take Kyren early if you want. You could take Bijan, Kyren, Chase Brown. I'm in a home league right now where I took Bijan, Bucky, and Kyren. They all were right there because it was going wide receiver heavy, and I said, you know what? Screw this. I took Bijan at the 2 pick because Chase went 1, felt very much like best ball, and Bucky barely fell. I mean, he was at the top of the board, just sitting there. And another Lamar went early. You know, it's one of those home leagues where a quarterback sometimes goes early. Lamar went 1 pick before me, and Bucky sat there at the top of the suggested rank for 2 picks. And then I got Bucky, and then I waited 2 picks, got Kyren. So, love that start. And that's a grandma league. It's my longtime buddy league that I've had for 20 plus years. And I love getting that trio. That trio of RBs is wetting my beak. I'll tell you that right now. Sheesh Coin, call in if you got a question on it. I'd love to help you further because you dropped a $50 hauler. I want to make sure you're taken care of. Sheesh, are you out there? Sheesh. Generally speaking, would you say it's smarter to go early QB or tight end in the 8 and 10 man leagues compared to 12? Yeah, in general, going early QB in general is better in a smaller league because that's your advantage point. Because everyone's going to have loaded RBs, everyone's going to have loaded wide receivers, but there are only 4 or 5. You know, you could call it 6 if you like Mahomes like I do. Players that could score, you know, that massively, you know, crazy higher than normal quarterback scoring, which scores the most points each week. And if everybody else is kind of even, think of it like this. If you're a novice like Stevie Boy in Repo who joins the work league, and it's a 10-man league. 8. Who's talking in the background? Who is that? Who is that? Just be honest about it. That was big. That was Prophet. Prophet hung up. That was his admission of guilt. If you're in a work league and Stevie from Repo or Maggie from Billing ends up joining this 8 to 10 man league, they might not know what in the hell they're doing and they could still win the league. Why? Because it's an 8 or 10 man league, and everybody, no matter what you do, no matter if you shit the bed or auto pick, you're going to get studs. Everyone's going to have studs. You get to the 12 man or 14 man league, Maggie from accounting and Stevie Boy from Repo have 0 shot at winning a 14 man league. because it really takes skill to win a 14-man league. And it takes a lot of skill to win a 12-man league. So you got to know what you're doing. And in a 10 or an 8-man league, you don't. But that same concept needs to be thought of when you're talking about early QB in a 10 or an 8-man league, because everyone's loaded. You need an advantage point if you can pull it off. So that's what I would say about that. All right, let me go to the phone line here. Prophet, you can try again if you want. You didn't need to hang up. I just wanted to know who it was so I could tell you to mute. But nobody wants to fess up whenever they're the one that did something on the phone line. 937, you're live. What's your name and where are you calling from? 937.
Backwards Matt from Ohio.
Backwards Matt. Let me put you in the system. Backwards Matt. Backwards Matt. And then what's your 937? Okay. Backwards Matt, remind me why we called you Backwards Matt from the beginning. What was it that you...
Because I'm big on Rashad White.
Backwards
on Rashad White.
Hey, Backwards Matt, are you ready to admit that I'm right and you're wrong?
Well, hey, I'm gonna go this route. Rashad White, he injured his groin. It's fine.
Excuse.
I still have faith in him. And you pressed me and you told me that my problem is I have loyalty issues.
Yeah, you do.
Because I show loyalty too much.
Over loyalty issues.
That's fine.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm still with Rashad White, man.
I know you are, because you're a loyal man. Because you're a loyal man to the bone. Hey, look, I just want to tell you, Sean Tucker's the backup. Are you accepting that or no? Are you still
No,
fighting?
He's not.
Bro, come on.
No, he's not.
Come on, stop, bro. Stop.
No.
You're embarrassing yourself, bro. Stop it, Backwards Matt. Like, what on earth makes you think Rashad White's the backup? First of all, you just got word from this staff that says that Sean Tucker needs work now. That's not a threat to Bucky, but he needs work now. He's the between the tackle runner. Bucky went down. Sean Tucker starts. What about that don't you understand? Rashad White's not starting if Bucky goes down. He's not the same type of runner. He stays right where he is in his part-time third down role. Bucky's a 3-down back. Do you really not believe at this point? I thought you'd call in to apologize, but instead you really believe Bucky's still not a 3-down back? Is that what you're telling me, Backwards Matt?
No. Bucky's the real deal.
He's a 3-down back.
Deal, straight up. Bucky's the real deal, straight up.
Okay, at least you're there.
White is right there with him.
Come on, bro. Come on. Stop. All right, go. Talk about something else. Talk about something else. Let's save this call. Let's save face here. Go.
But I need your expertise, opinion.
Rock out.
That was offered to me, and I turned it down. But a guy offered me Ramondre Stevenson and Javonte Williams for my Jalen Wright, and I turned it down. Did I mess up?
I mean, bro, this trade makes both of you worse. Like, what are we messing around with this? Like, it's like trading, common cards from a deck of cards. I'll give you my common card for 20 cents if you give me your common card, your 2 common cards for 10 cents each. I mean, what are we doing? I don't know. Stevenson, Javonte, Wright. I would probably say, like, first of all, do you have one of the starters?
Well, I have Devon A-Chain. So
okay, so then I want Wright. So then I want Wright.
So I'm keeping Wright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Javonte may or may not lose his job. Stevenson's a handcuff. It looks pretty good, but he's a handcuff. Wright's a handcuff, but he's probably your handcuff. You got to keep an eye on Ollie Gordon, bro, because Ollie Gordon may become the handcuff. So you're kind of in a little bit of a bind with that because Ollie Gordon looks so good. But yeah, you got to keep Wright, bro. Don't be dividing up the troops, huh?
It's a dynasty league, though. So I mean,
so,
we have
if it's a
players on our roster.
Let me ask you a question: is Javonte on the rise, or is he likely holding on for dear life, and then he's on a decline? Probably that, right? Is Stevenson on the rise, or is he, just hanging on? And is Wright maybe and is right maybe more on a rise. Maybe not, but maybe a little bit more of a chance than these two. So that if it's dynasty, that tells you right there. But just look into Ollie Gordon, because you don't want to be, left thinking you've got the backup, and then it's tough, man. But dynasty leagues are a little bigger rosters, so you should be able to house Wright, Ollie Gordon, and Achane. So just do what you can to get Ollie.
Okay.
And
okay.
Yeah. And if you got Rashad White, trade him. All right, later, bro. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Backwards Matt. I was wondering. I mean, that wasn't why we gave him the name Backwards Matt, though. That was a recent disagreement that we had. We called him Backwards Matt. I mean, clearly he's backwards. I mean, just by his mere assessment of the Tampa Bay running back situation, he's backwards. But we called him Backwards Matt for something he did even worse than that. It was so backwards that we called him Backwards Matt. I got pick 1 is Chase Brown. A reach at the 2-3 turn in a 10-man? Absolutely not. No, his value's climbing there. He's more than deserving of that valuation. Not a reach at all. Chase Brown to the moon. Day 19, 12,000 steps, rockouts, doing it live. What a monster. Anybody who doesn't, 24 days left on the 24-day challenge. Pick something. I'm dropping down to 190, 200 pounds even. I want to get to 199, but 200 LBs is my goal. And that includes running, working out, all that stuff. And I'm using the core board I got over here on the floor. So, we're doing some sets, while we're on the show right here. Oh, that's good for the shoulders. So using the core board, if anybody doesn't know what the core board is, you can get 10% off by using code Smitty. Let me see if I can find the core board. Here it is. Core board's awesome. It really is such a good piece of equipment. And it comes with the cables, the bar. You can literally do everything with it. Go to stoicinnovations.com. Links in the description of every video, stoicinnovations.com. Click the link in my description of the video. Code Smitty. Love these guys over at Core Board. So check that out if you need a system. It's great. 24 days, pick anything. Man, my shoulder's already sore from doing that. That was a good shoulder. I don't do a lot of shoulders. I need to. I've been doing biceps, push-ups, chest, but I haven't been doing a lot of shoulders. That right there, I feel a little tingle. I need to do more shoulder work. Goodness gracious, bro. Oh my God. That's good. Ugh. I probably need to do it the same exact angle so one of my shoulders isn't bigger than the other and I start looking like an Achane when he's eating that spinach. And what else are we doing here? Super chat here and then over to the phone line again. Interesting thoughts on the 10-man league. Our league has 2 flex spots, running back, wide receiver, and running back, wide receiver, tight end. What would your advice be on this? Look, it's all the same. Just fill your positions and take the best player available. I don't think there's really, when it comes down to it, it's like if you had 3 mandatory wide receiver spots, then wide receivers do hold a little more value when it's 3 mandatory. But if it's 2 and 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and then a bunch of flexes, that doesn't matter. The flexes don't change anything for me. I don't draft different players because of as long as I'm not doubling up on spots I can't. Occasionally I might draft a backup running back before I draft my 3rd mandatory wide receiver because I love guys like Horton and all, downstream. So I'm thinking that out. I'm not just blindly taking anybody without looking at my lineup requirements. You know what I mean? So it kind of just depends. There's no real cement way. I think when people want me to give them an exact way to do something to kind of ease their mind, I can't do it because it's so situational. And if you give me an example to help ease your mind, that would probably be more beneficial. Like, hey, if you're on the clock and you've got your whole team full, except for your wide receiver 3, would you still draft your croskey-merritt over? You know what I'm saying? Like, give me an example and then I can attack it a little bit more. It can be used. Let's go. Bruce, you're back. What can I do for you?
Hey, Smitty. What do you think on, man, I just had this guy on there. 1 second, Smitty. I got to use something for Mr. Overton.
All right, we'll call back when you're ready. Okay. Hold on, Smitty. Don't let me keep you, Bruce. Okay, this is from Rock Out. Rock Out says, Smitty, what routine besides the weight training? So I'm running, I'm doing burpees and push-ups and running, doing intervals. So I'll do 10 burpees with 2 push-ups on every down. So down 1, 2 push-ups up. Down 1, 2 push-ups up. And that's hard. Like if you've never done that like recently on a consistent basis, you're dead when you do 5 sets of that. So I go down, I do 2 push-ups, I jump up 1, down, so I do 10. So I'm doing 20 push-ups and 10 squats, and 10 planks, right? Then I sprint down the street, which is about a little less than a quarter of a mile back and down and back. Then my rest for running is burpees. My rest for burpees is running, and there's no break. There's no walking. It's all. And the first time I did it, I couldn't move my arms when I was running down the 5th run. And I was so sore. Now I think I'm going to go to 3 push-ups. And the squats don't even affect me. I almost think I got to do 2 squats, 2 push-ups, 2 squats, but I run down. So now that's about a mile, the whole distance that I'm running. And then on the last one, I run like a quarter, half a mile on the last one. So I actually run about a mile and a half total. And then I quit soda. I've been lifting a little bit, but the push-ups are really helping. And I needed to start doing abs today. I need to do abs every day from here on out. But I've dropped from 221 to 222 to about 207, 208. I've been able to go many more pounds past that. I might need to do diet to get to the last 200, but we'll see. Thank you, Rock Out. Rock Out, appreciate you being a part of it too. Rock Out's been walking ever since. He does 12 to 15,000 steps a day. Bowers McBride, round 2, 3 in an underdog puppy. Bowers McBride. Sam, you've been here a long time. Why in the hell would you take 2 tight ends back to back? That's not bully tight end. That's abuse to your own squad. That's throwing your money down the toilet. You can't draft. I mean, you're maybe putting one in your flex spot, sure, but this is a disaster. I don't understand why anybody would draft this, Sam. Never draft bully tight end that high. You want a bully tight end with an Ingram or a Kelsey, maybe like in round 7 or whatever. But that is a disaster waiting to happen. And anybody that drafts 2 tight ends is out of their mind in a non-best ball 1 tight end league. You just can't do that. I've had people that say, Smitty, back in the day, I drafted, remember when Laporta was a stud? And then that next year, I drafted Laporta and Kelsey. Kelsey was still a high 2nd round player, and he couldn't win. You couldn't trade him. Nobody would take him off his hands. He ended up selling out on one of those tight ends for something so low. It's like, why not just draft the player that you would eventually trade for anyway? Like, it's a disaster waiting to happen. It's a complete disaster. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. No chance. It is one of the worst decisions you can make in a fantasy football draft is to go all, I'm going to do a little theory. No, absolutely not. $10 hauler from Official. Appreciate you. Rank me. 12 team Superflex. Law Dog, Kyler. Okay. Hampton, Achane, Laporta, Worthy, MHJ, Judy, Godwin, Golden. Yeah, I mean, it's good. Hampton, Achane, and those 2 quarterbacks, it's good. And then Worthy, MHJ, yeah. The only thing I'm even hesitating on is just saying, like, what if you could get rid of Tua or T. Law? And I know it's nice having the depth, but you get like a Milton, a Milrow off waivers if they're there. And you're trying to upgrade Godwin or Judy just to get that one more piece, bro. And if it's a flex, even better, because then you can go after Harvey, Hendy, you can go after Hunter, etc. But I'm kind of looking just to move Godwin in the extra quarterback. And Tua could get hurt at any moment. Pearsall, I'll throw Pearsall in there. But that's a really good team. I think you make that move when you're in the 8s for me. Right now, maybe just like put it at a 7.9 as motivation. But really, just like one small move away. And the small move, don't trade anything crazy. The small move could just be picking up the right waiver wire guy. You know, you pick up that waiver wire gem, and all of a sudden, bro, you're a 10. You know, just if you grab the H-hand or whatever. If you grab just below an H-hand Kyron type ad, let's say you grab Horton, and Horton ends up being a top 22 receiver or something, then you're probably going to be an 8 out of 10 for me just by that one move. BBQ nutrition is, a Rockout says nutrition is essential to reaching your goals. Yeah, but I like to eat stuff, and I don't like to. Quitting drinking the Mexican Cokes that I would down like they were water. That was a sacrifice enough for me, and that was huge for me. And I'm still drinking sugar in these, but they're so much lighter, and I don't drink near as many because they're just not something like I feel like I crack open a Mexican soda, I take 3 sips and it's gone. Like each Mexican soda is like 2 sips to me. Whereas this could take me, and it doesn't take me a long time to drink, but I don't want to drink the whole thing. And so that's the way I've lost a lot of weight doing that. But I'm not going to like cut out all the sugar and I eat eggs and bacon a lot. I eat things like that anyway, so I'm good. I'll have tacos. I'll throw sour cream on. I'm not going to get rid of that. Cheese, like I'm not doing any of that. I'd rather be 207. I feel fine right now. If I can never get to 200 pounds and just keep eating, the way that I eat. I don't know. That's too long, Marcus. I'm trying to roll through some of these smaller ones. Smitty, not on weight loss shot. Not on a weight loss shot. No, bro. I gotta take a shot. Losing weight's free. I don't need. Losing weight's free, my boy. All you gotta do is put in the work, which I haven't been doing. So, laugh at me for the last, year or two, just putting it off. I'll drop a couple lbs, then I gain it right back. Not this time, my boy. This time it's hard work, running every night. Cut out the Mexican sodas, but I will go back to the Mexican sodas. It's gonna be, it's going to be a little bit less, but once I get to my ideal weight, I just maintain whatever I'm at. I don't gain it back. So like when I keep struggling to get from 220, 219, 220, 221, but drinking all the Mexican sodas in the world doesn't put me at 230. If I stopped drinking the Mexican sodas and didn't work out or run, I'd still stay at 219, 220. It's weird. My metabolism is pretty good, I guess. But I definitely need the exercise to get down, and then I can... All right, enough of that. Let's go over to BBQ. BBQ, you're live. Enough of the weight stuff. Let's get to football.
I was going to say, I'm at 207 as well, my brother.
You're what?
I'm at 207 as well. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I can't. I haven't been able to. Yeah. What's up, BBQ? Appreciate you.
Hey, so I wanted to talk about the auction draft stuff. I know a lot of people don't do it. I play in like 3 different auction leagues, and I absolutely love it. It incorporates the GM kind of capability of playing this thing and the way that you handle this stuff, the approach you take. One thing I was going to say is about on ADP and regular leagues and auction leagues. When you draft that high value player in the auction league and you're paying like 50, 60, 70, I mean, some guys get crazy. It's like the equivalent of a first round pick in ADP. And if you miss that first round pick in the regular league, it can really put you back on your heels and you can struggle the rest of the year. It's the same in these auction leagues where you only have a finite amount of money. And now you've got to really make up for that the rest of the way. So one thing I appreciate about what you're doing here in this show is that you're identifying value targets at ADP and value targets. And so when people overpay for players in an auction league and they overpay in ADP, they come up and draft players in the second round that should be going in the fourth round. You kind of just, the apple cart gets turned upside down and you're not working, for yourself. You're working against yourself. So that's one thing I really appreciate about what you're doing here in the show.
Yeah, thank you. What I would say to people is, so here's the best picks from every round, essentially. Not to say that I haven't updated it, so there could be a player that we talk about all the time that's not on here. This is kind of a couple weeks old. But looking at this board, any of the values, just like when we say he's a steal from round 3, Breece Hall's a steal from round 5 now, probably. Mahomes is a steal. Hendy, in this fifth round was winning leagues. So now Hendy's in the 3-4 area. But you can imagine Hendy in 5 auction. All you have to do when people say, who should I bid on? Think about it like a draft. What players are a steal in a draft? Those players will be cheaper in an auction. And like BBQ just said, if you're buying Lamb and Bijan, guess what? You're not going to have much else. But if I don't have Lamb and Bijan, and I hate not owning Bijan, but in an auction I won't own Bijan unless I go two-headed monster, Gibbs, Bijan, and try and get like a Knicks with it, Bo Nix, Bijan, and Gibbs. I kind of want to try that in an auction and just see what happens and see if I can grab as many other players. What if Ibuka still was affordable, or what if you could get a guy like, what if Debo was cheap enough? I don't know, but build a team like that. It would be fun. But for the most part, my advice is don't draft any of the big dogs. Just don't in auction. Don't do it, because and Chase Brown was going in 3. Now he's climbed to 2, so maybe he doesn't qualify because you got to pay a premium for him. But Hampton, with the loss of Slater, maybe falls back down into 3. Kyron, Hendy's climbing, but still a value. Quarterbacks, avoid these guys here because they'll go for higher. You could get Mahomes for like $5 or $3 or $2 because people will be afraid of them. But also wait until don't call your own player out. If you want Bucky, don't be such a undisciplined person that you're like, I just gotta call him out and get it over with. Bucky! And it's like, Bucky, $70. And you're like, son of a bitch! Like, you gotta literally let people spend their money. When it's your turn to nominate, Bijan. When it's your turn to nominate, Christian McCaffrey. Your turn to nominate, Barkley. You throw out the highest dollar guys, and you typically ones you don't even want. And it's $5. Let's get it started. And just watch everybody spend their money. Here's half of my purse right there. Boom. Here's 60% there. And then all of a sudden, you get to Breece Hall, and everyone's hurting. They're penny pinching. And now Breece Hall, instead of, if you called him out at the beginning, goes for 35, might go for 22. So that's rule number 1 for auction. We don't do a lot of auction content because not a lot of people actually play it comparatively, even though it's really fun. And there are people that say, no, I play it, I want it. But whenever we do any auction videos, like the interest dies. So I don't really do a ton of it. Plus, I don't really draft a lot of it. Once Underdog, and if Underdog ever implements an auction style draft, which, I told them they should, I could help think it up too. But then it's kind of hard to do that. But auctions are fun. They're just, I think a lot of people there's a lot of worried Williams out there, and I think they get so anxious about it, they don't like it. And so a lot of people do it and they have fun, they have a time of their life. Other people are like, I just don't like the fact that I don't know what's going to happen. Anything else? BBQ, what else you got?
The funny thing is with the last year I had 2 auction leagues and I had 2 regular leagues and I made the championship in all 4 of those. And the thing about those teams is the teams that had balance were the ones that actually made it to the finals that I won with. Mm-hmm. One of the leagues that I didn't win, I lost by a point on the last second catch in the championship. So there's something to be said about having balance, and especially if you, like for me, if you're in a flex league where you've got 2 flex, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, you just got to have that stuff. And that's what it worked for me. Maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but I'm not overpaying in the auction draft, and I'm just going to draft talent in a regular league, and that seems to work for me.
Yep. Yes, sir. All right, hang tight real quick, BBQ. Just mute yourself real quickly, and I'll be right back over. If you have anything, just interrupt. I think the other caller just hung up. Bruce, you got your other question before I go back to BBQ? What do you got? What do you hear?
Yeah, sorry about that, Mr. Robinson. Scared of spiders. I had to go kill spiders. What did you think of J.J. McCarthy?
Mixed. Like he was not bad, but I think a lot of people came away with what they wanted to come away with. That's the way the preseason is. It's self-serving to a big degree. I get that, but McCarthy didn't look like a superstar, and I know people wanted him to, and he looked good. He was efficient. But that's what I've said he'll be. He's not a Kirk Cousins, prime Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. He's not as funny as it is to say this, I think people are smart enough to know what it means, but he's not a prime Sam Darnold, Minnesota Vikings Sam Darnold. I think he's just an efficient Brock Purdy. Not Brock Purdy, at his absolute prime in the most optimal conditions where he played out of his mind better than he really was. I'm talking about Brock Purdy now. Brock Purdy, if everything goes well, his line holds up, Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, he'll be pretty efficient. He's a smart kid in the pocket. Brock Purdy, I'd say Brock Purdy's one of the best pocket presence quarterbacks in the league. That's coming from somebody that doesn't really talk a lot of, high praise for him. He's very smart in the pocket, knowing where, he's at, knowing how to just step to the side slightly. But he's not an elite quarterback on any level. His arm's not elite. His accuracy's pretty good. His accuracy's good, and his pocket presence is really good, and he's super intelligent. But guess what that is? That's a good, efficient game manager that you can mask a lot of the things that are going on. That's kind of the way I almost think of Goff in some ways. Like, Goff's a really good quarterback, but he's not elite. But Ben Johnson made him look as though he was elite. He propped him up like Weekend at Bernie's. And I think the same thing, I don't want to say McCarthy needs to be propped up, but this offense is so good and there's so many weapons. I think he can look a lot better than he is too. But I don't think he'll be, I see people out there trying to predict, big things all the time and be bold and crazy, and say things just to say it. I mean, to suggest that McCarthy's going to be a top 5 QB. I see people trying to make bold statements like that. I just think that's crazy. I don't think there's any. I think they run the ball a lot. I think they change the way they do things and build around McCarthy. And if they do that, they can win games. I think the Vikings with McCarthy can win games. They just need to run. And the fact is that, JJ and Addison and Hawkinson that's a great group of receivers to throw to, pass catchers to throw to. He'll be efficient. Could he have 240 yards, 2 touchdowns every other game? And be one of those guys that ends up with, a pretty decent stat line? Yeah, for sure. I think he's good, but is he going to be an elite electric player? I don't think he'll be elite. I think he'll be good. And that's, we're talking about wins and losses. The Vikings,
and I could be wrong. I could be dumb. I was Vikings fan, but I have them at least in fantasy wise finishing in top 15 fantasy wise.
I mean, sure, but 15 is that territory of like 11 to 17s within like 20 points sometimes. So could he be a super flex QB, really good one? Sure. But just like I'm not drafting, a lot of quarterbacks like that. I mean, I could list tons of them. I want to have a Burrow. I want to have a JD5. I want to have a Mahomes. I want to have a Bo Nix, who I believe is going to explode. I want to have those guys as my starters. Even Penix Jr., I believe, will be a baller. So I think McCarthy is good for. I mean, look, JJ, if he's healthy, if JJ's hamstring ends up healing, and the word out right now, it wasn't horrible, but it also wasn't good. It was that, he's taking it day to day. It's getting better. It's a process. And it's like, whoa, you were wanting to hear, although he could just lied to us and we would never know. But you wanted to hear like, oh, it's fine. If I had to play a game right now, I'd play. I'm just being careful, or cautious or whatever. But so I don't know. We'll see how it is, how it ends up. But JJ, Justin Jefferson, is going to eat, like, if anybody's going to get hurt, it'd be other players. I think JJ will consume as much as JJ needs to consume. The question will be, are the touchdowns there? McCarthy's still got a long way to go before he gains my trust to do what you kind of saw him do in this last game consistently, and then we'll go from there. But that's not bad. It's not a bad thing to be like, I've never called him a bust. I just don't think he is what people think or want him to be. He's not going to be Kirk Cousins airing it out in that offense. And again, I mean Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings Kirk Cousins. Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold, Vikings Sam Darnold. I don't think we're getting that player. But you don't need that player. And maybe the Vikings don't want that player. Maybe the Vikings coaching staff smarter than people think, and they can adapt to what they have. And they say, we're going to run the hell out of the ball, and we're going to be balanced. And we don't need 5,000 yards out of J.J. McCarthy. Maybe we need 3,600, 3,800 yards. And I think he can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not bad. That's just, that's a quarterback that's managing very well. And I think he doesn't exceed anywhere near 30 touchdowns. So that's where it's going to be like he's not a fantasy football superstar. But he could throw for 25, 26 touchdowns. Sure, absolutely. And again, JJ only needs 8 of them, 10 of them. Could he oversaturate JJ with the majority of those, like half of them? Yeah, he could. I mean, he only needs 20 TDs to give JJ 10 in that context. So if he gets 27, JJ could easily eat, 9 or 10 touchdowns. But my concern with JJ is his hamstring. You got Addison out 3 games. What if JJ's hamstring gets worse or whatever, and then all of a sudden you don't have receivers? It's like, holy crap. I like Naylor a little bit, but that would be a whole different start for JJ McCarthy. So we got to hope he's got a healthy, core out there.
And I got one more for you, and this is a kind of weird one. And if you were in like the last round, would you take a chance on like an Amari Cooper saying hopefully he signs with a team?
Sure.
And just have him as a bench player?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Penix will be a bust. Okay, bro. Arthur, you do you. Penix Jr. ain't gonna bust. All right, Ron Navy, you're live, and then back over to BBQ.
Hey, Smitty.
Yo.
Well, hey, McCarthy could develop into somebody like Baker Mayfield that you don't like at a certain time, but through a couple years or whatever, you never know.
Sure.
I mean, it happens. Your opinion can change on him in a couple years.
For sure.
Right now, it is what it is.
Yeah. Right now, he's good. He's good. He's a quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot to show you yet before you become a believer.
Right.
Kind of like the same with Baker. That's all I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But did you see the Cohen interview?
I've seen a couple of them. Thank you, Overcome. HN 9.
The one where
smash. Go ahead, Ron.
A couple things with that. Talking about how they were trying not to have a brain fart here. Lawrence, Eli, his footwork's getting better, and he's making progressions, and he's going through his progressions a lot faster. He's learning the offense of Cohen's offense, and so he's happy at the progressions that he's making so far. And then what they've done with Hunter, he talked about the Hunter whole thing is when they weren't having too much success with Hunter when they'd have him work offense with no defense or defense with no offense. And they figured it out. They have to have him work both sides of the ball all the time. They set aside, and that's how they're getting they're getting the most out of him. He determined that, we got to have him working both defense and offense every time. He's got to.
Well, what people don't.
We can't just like today you work offense, tomorrow you work defense because that wasn't working.
I know that people.
That's what he was saying.
I know people don't want to hear this because it doesn't. They've never seen it, and so they're doubting Donnie's. They hate Hunter. The people that's not going to happen. He's going to get hurt. Hunter's playing already. This is already confirmed several times over. So if you don't accept this, you don't know. You don't listen. You don't know ball. You don't know something. It's already confirmed. 80% offensive snaps. It is in the plan to get him 80% of the defensive snaps. The people that think he can't do that, he's going to get hurt. You don't make that determination. And nor are you qualified to determine that from your couch. So you can hate on the kid all you want. You can continue to pretend you know what you're talking about in terms of him playing both sides of the football and how much. This is the plan. Eventually, right now, this is locked in. This is stage 2. You don't like it? Good. I can't wait to watch it happen for you. You think it's impossible because other people haven't done it and no one wanted to work hard enough to do it? You heard me. Anybody that was playing both sides of the ball that didn't try this, they didn't do it in college like he did. They didn't prep themselves to do it like he did. Coming out of college, no one was an 80% player. He played 80% of the offensive snaps in 2023, 80% of the defensive snaps in 2023. In 2024, he played 80% of the offensive snaps in 2024. He played 80% of the defensive snaps in 2024. 80% is where he lives on both of these sides of the ball, and he did it in college for 2 straight years. So what makes anyone think he can't do it at the pro level? Because the pro level's, too difficult for him to do it? Okay, Heisman winner, absolute monster receiver that is one of the more gifted and athletic players to ever come out of college. Oh, he's just going to hit the pros and not be able to do it. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, he's going to get hurt. Okay. Not, you came up with that all by yourself, huh? Hunter playing both sides raises his injury risk. Okay, Bink. Okay, you hear that from another channel? Because that's all you're doing is repeating what someone told you. Because you don't know that from your couch. You couldn't. So you're saying it because someone said it. Just saying. Go ahead, Ron, and then back over to BBQ.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize too back when football was just getting started and, all that other stuff, a lot of players played both sides of the ball. I mean, defense and offense and not necessarily.
No one at this level, though.
You had a lot of people playing both sides of the ball, and people forget the history.
Yeah, but
it used to happen on a regular basis.
Yeah, nowhere near this though. I mean, this is a whole new level. This isn't like
nowhere. Yeah. I mean, look at football back. I mean, just look at football between '80s and now. I mean, it was hardcore. It was like without all the rules and everything. I mean, it was wild west back. Footballs in the '70s and '80s were crazy because that was hard smash mouth football. Nowadays, it's more refined, more eloquent. It's more about the offense and the passing game and all that. But back in the day, football was just nasty as far as you just.
All right, hold on.
Hold don't realize it.
Hold on 1 second, Ron. Hold on. All right, caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Smith Gill.
Your name's what?
Luke.
Who?
Luke. My name's Luke.
Luke. Okay, your phone kept cutting out. Luke, what can I do for you, Luke?
My bad.
No problem.
Quick question. In a scenario where, say, spring cornerback gets hurt, do you think that there's a chance that they start Travis Hunter primarily on defense and cut his offensive?
No, I know everybody wants this to be more difficult than it is. Bro, he's eventually going to play 80% defensive snaps. That's what he wants. So if somebody gets hurt, he's already in there full time. That's the whole point. Nobody wants to accept it. That's fine. It's crazy though. It's crazy that everyone's making these calls for themselves. They're deciding what they can handle. They're deciding what other players can handle, not what he can handle, because he's done it. Bro, he didn't toy around with it. He played 80% of both sides of the ball for 2 straight years in college. 2 straight years. He is versed in this. He's not learning the defensive position. He's not learning wide receiver. You know how many people act like he's green at the wide receiver position? Like, it's easier to learn. People use this phrase, they don't know football. It's easier to learn DB. He's not learning anything. He was the number 1 cornerback prospect in the draft class. He was the number 1 wide receiver prospect in the draft class. He's not learning anything. He's getting better. He's refining his skills like any rookie would. But the way people talk about him learning a position is just astounding to me. It shows how much so many people don't know football. They just hear something, they repeat it. They don't know. They didn't watch him in college. They didn't follow him in college. They don't even know the college, stats and data for it. They just repeat it because they heard some podcaster, some Mickey Mouse podcaster say, he's going to get hurt if he plays both sides of the football. I'm going to make that assessment from my couch. I'm going to make the assessment from my couch. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
I'm not saying he's going to get hurt. I'm not arguing.
I know. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not yelling at you. Yeah, no. When I start screaming and yelling, it's not always it's just me on the topic. But go ahead. My point is that his goal is to be way more defensive. Like, let's say it's 60. It's 80% offense, and in a very minimum 55 to 60% defense is what the goal will be. That's what he's going to do. So once he gets this to 80, 55, 60, and everyone that thinks that, they're just going to run go routes on him and make him tired. Oh, poor him. He loved that. He's not getting tired. You're not wearing this guy out. He did this in college. 80% of the time on both sides of the ball. I don't understand what's going through people's heads. So many people that played this position, that tried to do this and didn't do it, they've got an agenda. Because Richard Sherman, exactly my point, official. You think you're teaching me something. Richard Sherman didn't do it, so therefore it can't be done, he's saying. That's what Richard Sherman's got to say. Because if he says, it can be done, then guess what Richard Sherman didn't do? He didn't do a good enough job. He didn't prepare himself enough to do it. Everyone rooting against him that played football is admitting out loud that they could have done better if they say he can do it. That's what this is going to end up happening. That's why people are biasly against him. It's so hilarious. He already did it. No one's done what he's done. He's prepared and trained for it. No one's been 80% through 2 years straight of college. So yeah, a guy comes out, tries to play a little more defensive back and wide receiver at the same time, Dion. None of them trained and did it and executed upon it like Travis Hunter. It's like trying to run a marathon. You can't run a marathon unless you train for it. You will get injured. You can't just go run a marathon tomorrow. You will get injured. You can run half marathons and train for those. That's what Sherman did. He trained for half marathons. He never trained for full marathons. Guess who did? Travis Hunter. Guess who's going to be upset in his feelings about it? Sherman. Or other people that didn't do it. They didn't train for the full marathon. They couldn't do the full marathon, so they say that it can't be done. That's what as simple as this is. Again, 80% offensive snaps, 50-60. So to answer your question, there's no borrowing from this offensive side. Now, could there be a game or two that's very specific? Like he's feeling some tightness in something, but he still goes out there and they balance some things from here or there. But at the same time, for anybody to be, it seems like everyone's looking for a reason. Just like your question, no offense, but your question's looking for a reason to understand why we might want to doubt him. That's what your question is. And I understand because you're hearing it from 1,000 different directions. You're hearing this, you're hearing that, you're hearing that. And then so you're just kind of like, I don't know what to think anymore, right? And I get that. But I'm here to tell you that he is a playmaker. And this organization is the best organization. This coach is the best coach in the league for this situation because they understand it and they're cultivating it. He could have went to another team. We would have had some questions about it maybe. This team understands what he wants. What he wants, he will get. You know what I'm saying? If he was bad at defensive back in the pros for whatever reason, could they dial some of it back? It's possible, but he's not. He's an athlete. He's a gift, as gifted as they come. And I can't wait for the day that he picks off a pass, gets tackled, they keep him on the field, and then they throw a touchdown strike to him on back-to-back plays. I can't wait for the day he picks off a play, pick six, and then scores a touchdown in the same game. Let all the doubters and haters hate, and they're just looking for stuff. People are trying to dig it up. Oh, Sherman said, Richard Sherman. I don't care what Richard Sherman says about this situation. Are you out of your mind? Richard Sherman. Unbelievable. All right, what else you got, bro? Anything else on this topic or anything else?
No, I was just thinking about that, man. It popped in my head. It's a better to ask.
It's a good question, Luke. I don't want you to think you asked a bad question. A lot of people needed to hear it, and a lot of people still won't listen, and that's fine. But this kid has every intention of playing both sides of the ball.
I have faith in you if you got faith in him, dude.
Hell yeah, bro. All right, later, bro. Appreciate you. All right, 910, you're live. What can I do for you?
Smitty, what's up, man? It's Brendan, Savannah, Georgia.
What's up, Brendan?
I need some peace of mind from you about Breece freaking Hall. He is an athlete. People are losing their minds about what could happen with him in that situation.
Well, I mean, I talked about it on the show right before this. Real quickly, let me answer this super chat that's sitting here. 1.12, 2.1, Genty BT, BT Bucky, or Genty Bucky. I assume HN's gone. I'm going to go Bucky. Personally, if it's running back hungry environment, I'm going Bucky Genty. If you feel like balance is the only way to survive this league, then you need to trust your gut. And then I would say, look, there's nothing wrong with Bucky BT if you're wanting the offense and you believe in Bucky to the degree that I do. Bucky's my running back 4, but he's kind of my 3-4. You know, and Genty's kind of my 3-4 as well. So if you're a little bit more excited about the Bucs offense like I am, and you're just looking at this situation and saying, you know, I'm not buying into the Genty hatred out there right now and the dip and everything, but Bucky still deserves to be in round 1, and he does. I'm fine with the BTJ Bucky or a Genty BTJ. But if it were me, without knowing much, I'd say Genty Bucky, and then I roll with some better wide receivers or some better value wide receivers later. Love BTJ. But yeah, if HN's gone, yeah. All right, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. Who am I talking to right now? Who's this?
Hey, good. This is Brendan.
910, Brendan. Yeah, go ahead, Brendan.
Just calling about Breece Hall. I just tuned in, so I didn't see you talk about him. But
yeah,
just the eye test with Braylon, dude's a freak, so he kind of worries me. But so is Breece. I mean, he's proved it too. Just seems like he's kind of getting pushed out of the running back.
But why do you think he's getting pushed out? I want to break down what it is that's at the root, because you're hearing stuff, but you're just hearing stuff. You're hearing people that already have an agenda against Breece Hall, and they get information like, oh, he might get traded by the deadline. How does anybody know that? He might get. Do you think that his coaching staff walked up to a reporter and said, "We're going to trade him by the deadline"? Look, the same people that probably started talking about, and I'm not saying he doesn't get traded. Sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But you got to understand that the same rumors were already in existence, and they got shot down by the head coach of this football team. And he said they're ridiculous. And he called Breece Hall up in the offseason, and he said, hey, Breece, do you think you're getting traded? And Breece was honest about this, and his head coach was honest about it. And he said, I don't know. And he goes, you're not. You're our guy. You're our guy. And Breece Hall has top 5 running back ability. So when you say you don't know what to do with Breece Hall, in an existing league, I can understand the concern because you already have him, but you can't sell him low, so you're holding him. In an upcoming draft, whether it's Dynasty or Best Ball, bro, all of this news is tanking his ADP. He is now a 5th round pick in redraft after today. And probably late 5th or later in Dynasty, because if his redraft is tanking, he's getting a little bit older. He's not old man, he's still a young guy, but a couple seasons now, so his Dynasty value takes a little bit of a hit. Like, this guy is a steal. All of the risk is 1,000% baked in. 1,000%. You call me up and say, I'm worried about Breece Hall. I'm asking you, how in the hell are you worried about Breece Hall? He's practically free. He's going in top of round 5 now. He was going in 4. This whole news is going to send him to 5. Now, maybe not in every draft. I'm in a draft right now, and he just went in the end of the 3rd round. but that's a home league where I don't think they even know what's going on. They haven't heard any of the negatives yet. They're still hanging out. Like, there's those scenarios, sure. But overall, he's falling. Let's say in home leagues, he falls to the 4th round in redraft. He was going like bottom of 3 in home leagues in non-best ball. In best ball, in best ball BB 5th round. He was going in 4 on underdog. He's probably going and we'll draft tonight. If anybody wants to draft with us, underdog promo code Smitty, $10 minimum. They'll match your first deposit 50% with credit in your account, but it's only a $10 minimum. We'll be drafting tonight. I pretty much assure you, I can't guarantee it, but I pretty much believe we're headed toward a 5.1 or at least 4.8, 4.9, 4.10 value for Breece Hall. There's nothing to be concerned about. And then the last thing to just talk about on his trade value, or what happens if he gets traded, any team that goes after him needs an RB bad. So he'll be used. So Chicago, Houston, Washington, although we love Bill, Ja'Cory Croskey-Merritt. So I'm thinking this won't happen, but if, let's say, he were to get hurt or he doesn't, takes a step backwards, these teams are probably the most likely right now to be after an RB. And if they traded for him, they would be wanting to use him. So I wouldn't be worried about a trade necessarily stepping on anything. But again, the fact that the people that insinuated he would be traded before draft day or right after draft day, and his head coach, Breece Hall, shot it down and said it's fake. It's a fugazi. It's a fable. People tell their children. And so now people are brewing it up again, and we don't know if it's true. How would it be true? How would the staff be letting us know before Breece Hall has even failed or succeeded that they're trading him by the deadline? It's just a speculative piece that's gaining momentum, and Breece Hall still has the capability, my boy, of being a top 5 running back. I'm not saying he's a lock in there. I'm not saying pay that value. I'm just saying if this guy's going in the 4th round because of all this noise and he has top 5 running back capability, it's insane value. There's nothing to be concerned about.
Hell yeah. That's the piece of money I needed, man.
All right. I'm a boy. BBQ, what else you got?
It's funny, like listening to calls. It's like people forget Breece Hall. I mean, that guy out of the backfield, he's a receiving team. So I mean, just that alone.
Yeah, alone.
I mean, him dropping is just amazing. Like, yeah, let him keep dropping. I'll take that value all day long. As far as Hunter goes, I think that Hunter and Genty are like kind of the same conversation for a lot of people now that doubting Genty, doubting Hunter. I mean, look, coaching is about putting your best players in position to make plays. So if Hunter only plays X number of plays on offense, they're going to be scheme plays. Liam Cohen knows what he's doing. He's going to put that kid in position to make plays. And with DCJ, the two of them work off each other. So, that, I mean, it's a bonus. Genty, it's opportunity. I mean, fantasy football is about opportunity. How many times do you think Genty's going to get the ball? And you don't think he's got the ability to take something to the house and make something special?
People are ridiculous, bro.
What happened in fantasy?
People are ridiculous, bro. It almost gets exhausting, but I like it because it's exhausting, but at the same time, it excites me because I'm providing opportunity for the people watching to win their league. Every time that this continues to linger, all those Hunter doubt, all these Hunter haters talking about he can't play defense. He's not going to play. He's not playing 65+%. He wants to play 80. He played 80 for 2 straight years, both sides of the ball. Let's say it's 65. The people that are even upset about Hunter playing 65% of defensive snaps, he can't do it, they're haters. The other thing you got to understand is that if somebody's saying anything negative on Hunter at all, or Genty, you have a group of haters here. These were people who are already in the hater pool. These are the people that love him. And all these people in here, as much as this sounds like it's, defeating my argument, all these people in here, they're biased in favor of him. So no matter what's being said, they love him. It's like politics. No matter what's happening on one side, everyone doesn't care. Biggest scandal could come out on one party, and the party doesn't care because it's not changing. And the other party doesn't care. It's the way this is. It's the same thing as politics. This is politics. So the hater, there's so many people in here, no matter what the news is, The person complaining in the live chat right now, the 3 or 4 people are like, he can't play. They were here. They're standing right here. They've been here the whole time. They've just been quiet. They're like a cockroach in the shadows. And now all of a sudden there's a little bit of daylight to their argument, and they jump out and start chattering about it, running their mouth about it. But they've lived in here the whole time. There's very few people in between. And the people in between aren't being negative. They're asking questions. The guy that called in to ask me about Travis Hunter, he's not a hater, but he's also not a believer yet. He's in this middle zone looking to jump in either direction. The people that say Hunter can't do this, Hunter's going to fail at that, does that sound like somebody that biasly drafted him? No, it doesn't. The person that biasly drafted him is going to be like, he's going to score 17 touchdowns. Or if I say, even if, let's say I'm wrong, let's say I end up being wrong. If I say Hunter's going to be playing 100% of both sides, I'm not saying he is. If I did say that, the people in this category will just nod their head. And I'm not saying that these groups are sheep to their own opinion, but they're biasly embedded into the fabric of the opinion. And there's no taking you out. If you have 5 shares of Travis Hunter, you are not going to buy into any negative talk because you're biasly built in to be a believer. So when you hear a hater, keep in mind, they've always been hating. You hear someone ripping on Travis Hunter, he's going to get hurt. They might tell you, I own him in a league. They don't. They might tell you, I don't have any shares. I'm completely unbiased. They are. They are biased. They have an agenda and they're quiet about it. So when you hear negativity toward a player that seems unfair, Genty's the same thing. Understand what the person's thinking. Understand where they're coming from. They were never a believer. And it's like a bad Amazon review on a good product. You read it, extension cord. This thing's 5 stars, amazing. 5 stars, amazing. This thing's 5 stars, amazing. There's one Amazon reviewer. One. It's got 5 stars. It's got 5 stars across the board. But you see the 1-star review. You lock on it. You read it. It says, this caught my garage on fire. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not buying that extension cord. Hell no. That's what the people are doing in the live chat that are hating on a player because they're already invested in hating on it. It's probably a bot review. It's probably a near bot hater comment. They're acting like bots anyway. And it's only driving you away from something that, and driving you in a direction that you don't belong in. You don't belong in this hater group. Don't let one person have some weird comment override all of the positive stuff that you're hearing. It's very easy to do. Think of the Amazon reviews. All right, BBQ, one more thing, then back to Ron Navy, then over to Bruce.
You got a super chat. I see that, Smitty.
All right, let me see. I got this one here from Taz. Taz, I appreciate you. Oh, no, that was the Genty question. All right, this one from Jerry. Jerry says, trade Olave for Dart in a super flex. I suppose. I don't believe in Olave long term. I want to, but I don't. I don't believe in Shuck or anything going on in New Orleans. So Olave is even a year or 2 away from even getting a good quarterback. So I'd probably say take the chance on Dart. And he looked pretty good the other night. I'll say don't get too excited. Don't put your cart way in front of the horse on this one. But he definitely might have trade value that exceeds Olave. So for that reason alone, it's like twofold. He could be good for you, or you could be able to trade him later. So I'd probably say I confirm that. A nice team: Lamar, Baker, Bijan, Kyron, RJ Harvey, Scattaboo, Jamar Chase, JJ and Jamar Chase, Hunter. 4-man league, 12-man my ass, bro. 12-man my ass, bro. Jerry disguising his 12-man league as a 10. At least a 10. Jerry, nice team. All right. Go ahead, Ron Navy.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if BBQ's heard. Have you heard the possibility of Hill going to the Steelers?
Tyreek?
They're looking into it.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yesterday I did a video on that. This guy's going to get traded.
Yeah, I know you talked about him being traded, but we didn't talk about.
Yeah, we didn't talk about.
I saw a report earlier today that the Steelers are looking.
I could absolutely see it happen.
in a non-fantasy, I'm not talking, because I already know where you stand, and I agree with you as far as drafting him for best ball and stuff like that. His ADP is too high for, there's other players that are better better value. But is a football move, what do you think him and DK, Matt, would do? What do you think about that? Not saying it's going to happen, but
I don't know. Part of me, there's two things to think about here. Let me put Tyreek on screen since we're talking about him. Two ways to look at this. Wide receivers that get traded, especially mid-season, and I don't know that they're doing this similar to Breece Hall. If a trade was to go down, it would probably not be anytime really soon. This would be after there's no hope or something of Tyreek Hill benefiting this team versus hurting this team. Like, I think it comes down to like timing. I mean, you never know. Like, could he be causing way more problems in the locker room to initiate this immediately? Like, maybe. I mean, he's out of his mind right now with some of the stuff he's doing. But Tyreek Hill moving teams, being a diva. God, the Steelers love diva receivers. Being a diva, wanting the ball, blaming everybody else. He's always blaming everybody else. I could see this not working out the way that people want it to work out, even from just a football perspective. It's hard to learn a new offense. I know he's a veteran. I know he's a really skilled player. But to just walk in, I think it would be the end of the road for him in terms of being an elite-looking player. I think he'd have moments. I think he could help this team, I guess. But will the Steelers be in it at that point to even make this trade? Like, if this trade takes until week 7 for it to all unravel, will the Steelers have enough wins to make this make sense? That would be more of my concern. Now, if they tried to trade him early on, it'd be a little bit different. And I think that, he might potentially have, I don't know, a shot at being fantasy relevant too and helpful, but I don't know. Part of me thinks that if he moved, we'd always wonder, did he drop off in talent and that's why he failed in Pittsburgh in 2025 when we're looking back on this? Or is it because he moved teams, couldn't adjust in time, and then by the time the next year came, the talent had dropped off then? Kind of like Amari Cooper. Think of Amari Cooper. Cooper is a perfect example. Amari Cooper gets traded, looking still pretty good. The Niners wanted him bad. He gets traded to Buffalo and plays like shit. And then what do we all think right now? That Amari Cooper fell off in 2024. But did he fall off in 2024? Or did he just not jive, learn, and play and mesh well? And then now walking into this year, does he still have talent or doesn't he? And if he doesn't, if he failed, let's say, we would blame that he dropped off in 2024. But 2024 just might have been an unlucky setting for him to have his final year. And then he truly did drop off in 2025. I might be confusing people. But I just think that we might see him.
No, different system.
I don't know. I feel like this could be the end of the road for Tyreek Hill if he gets traded. And if he doesn't get traded, I think he can do well at times. But I think he unravels. I feel like he's already unraveling. This is like early stages Antonio Brown. Not saying Antonio Brown now. I'm saying the early stages. When he was still in Pittsburgh, Antonio Brown was starting to become who he ended up becoming times 1,000. But I feel like Tyreek Hill is he's problematic. He runs his mouth constantly. He shits on his team left and right. And it's getting bad. And this team is in a problematic situation right now where if Tua, there's even a report today where some people close, anonymous sources close to the situation are saying that this team is awful without Tua. When Tua's not in the lineup, they can't move the ball at all. They don't know what to do. They have no purpose. Miami Mike McDaniel could end up getting fired at midseason if this thing doesn't go right, and then they'll trade him. And will Pittsburgh be a recipient because they have a winning record and they can, make a push or something? That would be my guess as to how it plays out.
I know Pittsburgh, they want something now before the season starts. And they'd have to take on, I think it's over a $15 million salary cap next year on his contract. And I don't know. I don't know if I like the idea or not. Probably more like no, but it is out there.
Yeah. Super chat here. Traded Pacheco for Hunter. That's a big W. Amon-Ra, Neighbors, PPR. I'm gonna go that low. I'm still leaning Neighbors, but I still have a lot of worries. But I think when you start talking about Neighbors at like 6, 7, 8 in redraft in Dynasty, he still stands as potentially him and Jamar Chase, but Neighbors wide receiver 1 that's been on there all off season. Love the guy. But he could be number 1 per start this year, but I really worry that the Giants will shut him down when we get to week 15, week 14, and they're just going to say, why he needs surgery, why put him through another 4 or 5 games when we can get a jump start on his recovery. It just makes sense, so it's kind of worrisome, but at the same time, I mean, Amon-Ra's always playing hurt. I mean, he plays though, but he's always, separating muscle from the bone and his, like that was crazy. Amon-Ra's been injured and played injured. He's tough as nails. His dad is tough as nails. He was raised well. But I do worry about both of them to a degree, especially with Ben Johnson leaving, some regression in the touchdown department. So if Amon-Ra didn't have any risk at all, I would say Amon-Ra. But I'm going to go Neighbors here. But I will say I'd rather have Genty, BTJ, potentially, and London over Neighbors. So if London's there, I'm going London over Neighbors for redraft, not for Dynasty at all, for redraft. Or I'd draft Neighbors, ride it out, and then trade him for a player like London a little bit later. But there's risk factor involved in Neighbors. And even if I end up being wrong, will London be wide receiver 4 anyway? And I avoided the risk, and I ended up being wrong. But was I really wrong if I'm getting wide receiver 4 numbers out of London or wide receiver 5 numbers out of London? Now you hate London, then close your eyes and picture BTJ's face. Do you think BTJ was number 4 last year? Can BTJ be 5 or 6 this year? Yeah. So is BTJ safer than Neighbors? Yeah. Is Neighbors more talented? Yes. So it's a catch-22. Nice trade though. Nice trade. I like it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the phone line up, and I'll be back tonight. Ron, any final thoughts?
Yeah, at what point do you think, I mean, talking about Neighbors and stuff, at what point do you think that the Giants end up benching Russell Wilson and going with Dart? Do you have a week prediction? I think probably
4?
by week 4.
Yeah. Week 3 or 4? I'd say between 3 and 4, Russell Wilson's either hurt.
Yeah.
He gets hurt, get out of bed. Week 3 or 4, Dart's in there. And I think they got enough out of Dart where they're probably like, if there's any wiggle room, we're just doing it because he looks like maybe let's let him develop. Because this year is going to be a throwaway year anyway. So if they can wait 2, 3 or 4 games, that gives them some time to, because the last thing you want to do is put Dart in and then not sure if Russell Wilson's crap. Because if Dart goes out and struggles, then you bench him like Shanahan did Trey Lance. I'm not saying Trey Lance, I didn't miss on that, but Trey Lance looks really good right now for the Chargers. And as I said, when Shanahan benched Trey Lance came in, won a playoff contingent game, sent the Niners to the playoffs by winning that game as a rookie. And then they benched him and put Jimmy Garoppolo in and botched the whole thing. And Shanahan lost the Niners the Super Bowl. No one else did but Shanahan. That's all on Shanahan. It's why he's such a bad coach, great offensive coordinator, horrible head coach and decision maker with a lot of the big head coaching decisions. You don't put a guy on the bench. You just don't. Like, we're very lucky Bryce Young bounced back from that situation. AR5's not handling it well, probably won't, and probably can't stay healthy. Bryce Young is the only quarterback I can even remember in that exact situation getting benched, ego blow, and then he revives in the same situation with the same staff. Dart goes in and gets pulled, his confidence is shot. So you want Wilson to go out and fail so that Dart has nothing to worry about. And then he's going to have a much more likely chance of success. So 100% would not start Dart in week 1 for that very reason. And this is the same thing I said last year about Fields. You know, what did I tell you? If Fields goes in there, the threat of Russell Wilson being maybe better would take him out. And they said Russell's our starter. And I like that. I wanted that. I want Russell to fail so Fields could come in with nothing to lose. Then Russell gets out of bed, hurts his calf, and in comes Fields. But guess what? Fields got the rug pulled out from under him, just like I said he would.
Yep.
Unfortunate. All right, Ron, we'll see you later.
Well, and then, well, I mean, this could happen to Wilson. What happened to Fields last year? I mean, they could pull the rug out of him, and it would be kind of poetic justice because it should have been Fields. We all know Fields should have been left in the starting role last year. But
the worst thing that can happen, the worst thing that can happen to Dart is that Russ gets banged up, and then they put Dart in week 1, and they do the same thing to him. But yeah, you can't. Trey Lance was ruined by Shanahan. I'm not saying Trey would have become a superstar, but Trey Lance could have been the starter for the San Francisco 49ers for a decade. You know, Purdy would have never got a shot. They would have maybe never even drafted him. Who knows? But Trey Lance was in a position, and I know he got hurt, and you can blame it on that, but he was already playing badly, and his confidence was shook. He took a major step backwards because Shanahan pulled him out of the lineup. It was just so stupid. I mean, you got to, when rookies
character
Shanahan.
No, I'm talking about Trey Lance.
Oh yeah,
dude, what he's gone through.
Yeah,
and then go to Dallas and have a little short stint there, but to keep that his character, keeping that positive mind frame, says a lot about his character, and says just what we've seen in the last 2 preseason games for the Chargers, he looks so competitive. He looks so like more developed and ready to. I think he gets. I don't know. It'll be with the Chargers or somewhere, but he's going to get another opportunity to be a starter. I have a feeling because the kid has handled it. He
looks good in LAC.
He's learning good. He looks really good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, Ron, we'll see you later.
All right, we'll talk to
you
later.
Tonight. Go eat a steak. Go eat a steak later. Bruce, final thoughts.
It was a great show, Smitty.
Thank you,
My final thought is actually a question. We got the best pick to pick in each round. Would you do a video on the worst?
Absolutely. And I'm going to do how to dominate pick 1, how to dominate pick 2. I'll try and do a video if I can get through them all. I might have to do them in groups, like how to dominate the top 3 picks, how to dominate the middle, 5 picks, or I might have to consolidate to get them all the videos done. But I'll probably do at least 3 videos about those, but I'm going to try and do 1 in each pick. All right, my boy. We'll see you later.
All right. Yep.
And do a video on what you just said, the worst picks from each round. BBQ, final thoughts. We'll be back tonight, everyone.
Yeah, my question is for the chat. So this is my first off season here, and I know a lot of people are consuming content from other content creators and stuff, but I've been here since the season ended, and I'm just amazed at the content you're putting out. And my thing is trust the process. I mean, Smitty's putting out a lot of this great information for you, and I feel I've never been more prepared to draft in the 7 years that I've been doing fantasy football. And I don't know in the chat, like, how many of you have been here a long time or just been here, as long as I have. What's your opinion? Like, do you feel like this information you're getting from this show tops the other content creators? Because I find there's a lot of smoke in these other shows, and Smitty is calling it straight out. And you may not like what he's saying, but this guy's conviction, believes everything he's saying. So I'm just curious for you in the chat, like what's your take on this? Because I feel like this is the best prepared I've ever been for a draft, and I'm ready to go.
Well, thank you, BBQ. Appreciate it.
We're having fun doing it.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Call in tonight if you're around. And the chat should.
I got a 10-mile run in the morning.
All right. Hey, BBQ, appreciate you, bro. You there?
Have a good night, man.
Oh, okay, you're cutting out. You there? Oh, all right. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Good night,
all right, BBQ to the moon. BBQ's got his own own emoji. So if you could use the BBQ emoji, please drop it in the chat. He's been gifting memberships all off season. So please smash that BBQ button. Let's send him to Jupiter. BBQ, what's your pace on that? BBQ, call back in real quickly. I just want to ask you about that real quickly, just real fast. I answered this $50 holler from Gregor earlier. Greg, thanks for that, my boy. And then I think we're all caught up on the super chats. Let me see if we have. I said one question, BBQ. Celebratory messages. We got none of those. Did we have any gifted memberships? I don't think we had any to. Did we have any gifted? No, we didn't. Okay, so thank you for all those super chats. BBQ, real quickly, what's your mile pace on that 10-mile run?
So on a training run, it's anywhere from 10.5 to 11. Sometimes it's down around 9:45.
What can you run a mile in? Time mile, if you had to guess.
Good question. When I train, when I do sprints, I probably could do 10.5, maybe. I'll have to try it.
Yeah, I used to run a mid 4 minute mile, and high school, college, but now I probably could only run right now, if I'm being honest, I know I want to like pretend I'm faster than I think everybody does. It's like that guy in the TikTok video where he's like, I could do backflips, and it's like his wife's like, you haven't done one in 15 years and you're fat now. And he does it and lands on his head. I feel like that's probably what I think but I'm getting pretty good shape and I run a lot now. So I'd probably say if I warmed up enough, that's another thing too, is you get older. I mean, if I tried to run right now without stretching or anything, I couldn't. I would be like, it would really hurt and I wouldn't be loose and I'd feel stiff and I'd probably pull something. And when I was younger, I didn't need to stretch. I could just go run a 5-minute mile. I bet you if I stretched, warmed up properly, I could probably do a sub 7. I don't think I could get below 6:30 or anything, but I could do a sub 7, like 6:55, 6:50, 6:59. But that's about it. As far as long distance, I think I could probably run 3 miles straight with that before my knees would probably just start aching. It sucks. I can't do it. I can't do
doing this like run walk type of thing. And I will say one thing, like Rockout's talking about how many steps he's taken. I would say one thing, instead of just walking all the time, just mix some intervals in there. Just run for a little bit and then walk. Even if you're doing like 80-20, just get that heart rate up. And I'm always running, like where I live, there's a lot of hills, and I'll run trail runs and stuff as well. Just mix it up. It's fun. If it's just running on a treadmill or whatever, it's just monotonous.
Yeah, what I found, because I was walking, I was doing what Rockout's doing. I was walking like 12,000 steps a day, and then I got not arthritis, tendonitis in my entire front of my feet, my toes, my heel, the bottom of my foot, my shins, especially my shins. My shins were the worst. And I had to just take like a good 2 months off, and that's why I gained some of my weight back. It sucked. But I'd get on a bike and ride the bike, and it was okay. Walking 6 to 7 miles a day is hard, especially when I can't do it spread out. So when I'd be done with my graveyard show, I'd literally go walk for an hour and a half at night, and I'd get in at like 2:33 a.m. and I'd rinse and repeat. It sucked. Well, then I started riding the bike for 1 hour aggressively, 150 heart rate, riding a bike for 150 heart rate the whole time. And then I was like, okay, I can condense this down to an hour. Then I started doing intervals, and doing intervals is what dropped the most weight and takes the least amount of time. So like I said, I run down my street and back, and then this is my starting point. But first I do 10 burpees with 2 push-ups every time I go down. And then I run down and back, run down and back. But I'm never stopping. While I'm resting the running, I'm doing burpees. And while I'm resting my burpees, I'm running. And I never drop weight quicker than I just did. I dropped literally about 15 pounds doing this. And I stopped drinking Coke. But I stopped drinking Coke and ride the bike, and I stopped drinking Coke and walked, and I didn't drop the same amount of weight. So I dropped 13 pounds by doing these intervals. And it probably takes me like 18 to 22 minutes to do it. And I'm done. And so now I condensed my hour and a half workout down to 18 to 22 minutes. It's so much nicer. And I'm getting
fostering if you can. Like, I mean, I swim, I ride the bike, and I row, and I do all this other stuff, and it helps a lot.
Yeah. All right, BBQ, go get
core board.
Get the core board. Go tear up your 10-mile run tomorrow. Later, bro.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. What else we got? I think we're all done here. I think we're done here. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. All right, guys. Appreciate you all. We'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, I'm live Monday through Friday. 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. Right here. I'm also live. That's what the show is you're watching right now. The 8 p.m. show, Monday through Friday. I'm live additionally whenever big news breaks. I'm live additionally like we will be tonight at midnight Eastern. See you all at midnight Eastern to draft on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. That link is pinned in the... Actually, it's not pinned anymore. The link is right here. Use code Smitty. Code Smitty gets it done as well. Underdog. Promo code Smitty. Hit that link. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all tonight to draft. That link has been dropped. Make sure you're clicking the link. Make sure you're signing up. Biggie says, fix your mods. Well, I trust my mods. So maybe stop doing whatever you're doing that the mods didn't think was appropriate. I don't know. Biggie, why don't you just to let this guy know, you think my mods are treating you, as if you're being some angel. You're probably dropping so many swear words. The system, it's not, half the time not even the mods, bro. Here, you some people don't like to behave, and that's fine. The system, what he doesn't understand, but he kept going on it, so there you go. You don't want to be here, that's fine. That's on you, bro. You start saying things the way you're saying it. The system grabs your message if you're dropping a bunch of curse words, and it quarantines it immediately. It can't, we can see it as mods, but you can't, nobody else is going to read it. And YouTube takes it out. So you want your message to be read. All you have to do is not drop, curse words in it. It's just the way that it works. It's not to do it half the time, if not 90% of the time. It has nothing to do with my mods. All right. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. See you at midnight Eastern.